You know, we think about the GDP, we think about, you know, the Australian economy grew at 2 point whatever % this year, or whatever the number is. That's the GDP. Now, there wasn't a GDP before 1942. Did you know that? Did you know that the GDP, the thing that we use to measure our success as a civilization, was invented in the middle of the Second World War as a piece of, it was like the Manhattan Project of economics. It's like we needed, you know, this was the U.S. government's action. We needed an atomic bomb to beat, you know, to beat the Japanese, supposedly, and we needed a GDP to beat Hitler. I'm not making that up. It's all documented. Simon Kuznets, the inventor, was tasked to go off into a windowless room in the State Department somewhere and figure out how much stuff the American economy could produce. How much stuff could it produce? Bombs, bullets, planes, tanks, trucks, the whole 9 yards. Sorry, the whole shooting match, I think you said here. And he did it based on 3 pieces of data. 2 of them were agricultural. Can you imagine? Using nothing but like wheat and barley and the production of bullets in one factory somewhere. I'm making that up now. He figured out the entire industrial capacity of the nation. Now, within a few percentage points, he was accurate. Now, this is important. Why? Because Hitler could only do that with... Hitler didn't have any statistics. 30% of the German factories were lying idle during most of World War II, when they could have been producing tanks, bombs, bullets, all the rest of it. So it was a very useful wartime invention, the GDP, the economic growth measure that we currently use. But guess what? Kuznets himself testified before the U.S. Congress and said, do not use this indicator as a general measure of well-being. Do not use it as a general measure of progress. It's dangerous. Why? It wasn't designed for that. It was designed because the GDP measures every dollar that moves through a cash register anywhere. Anywhere. So, you know, how many people, you know, walked to this meeting today? Okay. That's good. That's good, because you would have done nothing for the Australian economy had you walked, you know, unless you had blown out a heel on your shoe or something. How many people rode a bicycle or took some sort of public transit? Oh, that's good, because public transit, you only spend like a couple of bucks or something, and you know. How many people drove here in a private car? Oh, terrific. You spent loads of money, right? You made a car payment, your tires got a little worn, you've got insurance payments, and you had to put gas in, and probably on the way here you pulled into one of those new kind of a gas station with a snack shop attached to it, because for some reason when you're walking or biking, you don't need snacks, but when you're driving you do. It's harder work, you know. So you got a few chips on the way, or coffee, but then the point is that you didn't really do as much for the Australian economy as you could have done. What you really could have done was get into a really bad accident. Now, don't die, because that's not as good for the economy. But if you get into a really bad accident, then the car has to be repaired or replaced. The insurance rates will probably go up. And oh, by the way, while you were in the hospital, you had one of those near-death experiences. You know, you go down the tunnel, you see the white light, you say, no, not my time. I have to go back. You come back, and you realize, my God, I've been living this lie. This is not my life. You go to Perth, you get a piercing, you know, your kids are like really confused about what happened to mom or dad, and they have to go into therapy. Money is flowing like water. You've done wonders for the Australian economy. The point about this little story is that the indicators that we currently use are not chiseled in stone as commandments from the divine. We are now getting by on the indicator system derived during a time of war 60 years ago. And we need to reinvent our measures.